Welcome everyone to this evening's presentation of the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership Next Level webinar series. My name is Jill Johnson and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. And I'm very excited to have you here with us this evening, and even more excited to have with us Ramon Ray, who will be talking about technology, something that is always changing. For a lot of us, it leaves us in a state of flux because we're not sure what to use and when. But he's going to talk about 11 ways to use tech to survive today's fast, Uber and mobile economy. So Ramon, thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Jill. Thank you very much for having me, and for all those listening live or those who are listening after. Great to be here, and I hope I can help and give at least one little nugget to somebody today. Thank you.
And I'm sure it will be much more than that. So before we get to the presentation, for anyone who's not familiar with the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership and what we do, let me just tell you a little bit about us. We are a not-for-profit organization, and our bigger mission is around economic development and helping people to improve their communities, improve their lives and their communities through entrepreneurship. Our mission is to help you increase your access to the knowledge networks and capital that you need for entrepreneurial success. A lot of the work that we do is one-on-one mentoring support, very hands-on, very high touch. We know that for many of you, it can be very lonely being an entrepreneur, and you need someone with whom you can bounce ideas around and just talk through some of the challenges that you may be having. And we serve that purpose. So if you are not already a member, we encourage you to consider joining the Eiffel family as a member. And also certainly make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter so you can stay abreast of the events and resources that we have available for you. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Ramon Ray. He is an amazing expert, and I know we said 11 ways to use technology, but he has something special he actually added a rule. So we're going to have 12 rules tonight. And I'd like to turn it over to Ramon Ray to tell you a little bit about himself and to talk to us about technology in today's economy.
Thank you, Jill. I appreciate that, and thank you for the work that you're doing at Eiffel. I really appreciate that, and it's always good to work with. I think, Jill, so many times we get so caught up in our own businesses, but I think that it's awesome to help organizations and work with organizations such as the organization you lead, Jill, who are helping others and changing lives, from the ground up. So thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So yeah, let's begin. We'll go fast and furious, and definitely I love to always talk about and know who others are on the line. We won't do that today, but I want you all to know that feel free to hit me up and go through Eiffel or however you can reach me and tell me who you are and how we can help impact you. A bit about myself, as Jill said, I'll take 10 seconds to do that. Overall, I'm a entrepreneur, speaker, and a best-selling author, and that's kind of what I do. I help educate small businesses how they can grow better. So I'm definitely digging what Eiffel's doing for sure. And my mantra, my mandate, my passion, what I love doing, it's helping small businesses grow. That's really my passion. I'm not a consultant. I'm not a teacher. I don't lead a nonprofit like Jill does. But what I do, my little niche of the world, is pretty much a lot of stage or presentations like we're doing tonight to educate small business owners and help them grow through my years of knowledge and experience. And I'm an author of a book. It was very interesting to have Mark call me one day and say, Ramon, can you help us write that book? And I picked up the phone and said, Mark, absolutely. Now, of course, Mark Zuckerberg himself didn't call me. His marketing team did. But that's kind of one of my feathers in my cap, Jill, that I like to say, to have Facebook call me to help write their book. Also a publisher of a magazine, Smart Hustle Magazine, and I hope you all sign up for it. Check it out, smarthustle.com. Definitely, we'd love to have the Eiffel community check that out as well. And the speaker, as I said, and a lot of other things, a graduate of the FBI Citizens Academy. This is not about guns, those of you who are pro or against whatever, but this is about law enforcement, and guns are a weapon, of course, in law enforcement. So I'm a graduate of the FBI Citizens Academy. Used to work at the United Nations, Jill. That's a fun fact people don't know until I stopped. And I worked at the NFL for 2 weeks, had the honor of interviewing President Obama in his first Google Hangout. And again, For some of you who are political, this is not about President Obama, Democrats, Republicans. He's the President of the United States, and I was honored to interview our President. And lastly, Jill, I'll say a tidbit about me is that many people love gardening. I don't, but I always like to say I love my wife. So therefore, sometimes I garden. And Jill, in this picture, if I had my way, I would concrete the whole darn thing. Trust me, I would.
I'm going to show this picture to my husband.
I'll send it to you, absolutely. So with that intro, let's get the show on the road. And my Twitter handle for those who are listening now or later on is @RamonRay. And Jill, what's Eiffels? Are you guys active socially? You want to shout that out?
We are. We're at Eiffel NJ.
Awesome. There we go. So let us begin. So rule number one, I like to say is that, sales and marketing, and I'm just going to narrow my thingamajiggy. When I do that, sometimes the screen changes. I minimized it, so give me 1 second. There we go. So sales and marketing, as usual, rule number one is not enough. I think there's the sales and marketing we've done 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, just trying to make a deal. But I would say, Jill, that's really not enough anymore. And to the Eiffel audience, my not mandate, my begging of you, my convincing of you is that we really need to make sales much more beyond just a monetary transaction. Why do they call this Uber economy? I could have called it the Amazon economy, but Amazon's a bit more old school. But Uber, what are they doing? When you get in the car, you can pick the music you like. In fact, they have an integration with Spotify to have music synced to what you like. So it's things like that the old school of selling of just, hey, give me some money and here's the product, it's not good enough anymore. It's really where you have to over-deliver, over-satisfy. And I like to say, put some emotion into that sales process, make people feel warm, like you have a vested interest in what they're doing. So that's really what I mean by this aspect of sales has to change. I neglected to say, obviously, I work for Infusionsoft as well, a sales and marketing software company helping small businesses, and they have a best practice called Attract, Sell, Wow. It seems like today so many business owners are in just the sell phase of what they're doing, sell, 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 and we like to say that it's really about much more than selling. It's about attracting people to your business, educating them over and over like we're doing tonight. We're educating you about our business, selling that, and then wowing them. So it's really this 4-step process of attraction, education, selling, and wowing. And I give whole, as you know, Jill, seminars and workshops on just this process. Maybe we can do that later on one day. But the key is not just selling, ladies and gentlemen. You really have to add the education aspect to your sales process. Point number 2. Word of mouth alone is not good enough. And most small businesses, I'm sure you, Jill, and your team at Eiffel see this in the businesses you help. We kind of start out with just word of mouth marketing. And I think that's okay, to start out with or as a baseline. But dear small business owner, we really have to do more. We have to do more than just the traditional, hi, my name is Bob. I work at the coffee shop down the street. Here's a coupon. Want to come? Yeah, that's some of that's important. But I would say, what about strategic networking at events? What about really focusing on how can we get clients to refer business to us? What about employee referrals? What about social content marketing? What about some smart digital marketing? So these are things that many, like it seems almost like some businesses know, but enough businesses are not doing it right. So those of you who are just relying on word of mouth, that's good. Do that word of mouth, but you have to do more. So let's go on to the next point. And that's rule number 3, which is really the highlight. You'll hear me mention Uber a lot. This is not a sales pitch for them, but I think they taught us that, dear business owner, you're a law firm, a spa, an accounting firm, construction firm, truck delivery company, whatever you are, there's some young kid or some old person in their proverbial garage thinking, how can they disrupt your little cozy business model? So you have to be paranoid, as Andy Grove, the founder, not the founder, but one of the senior executives of Intel, he just died recently. As he said, only the paranoid survive. And with this point, I'm trying to really hit us over the head to understand, listen, you have to be constantly updating your business processes, constantly updating your brand. And I don't mean, guys, changing it from, it's green today, red tomorrow. But I mean just that good paranoia of thinking, how can we always do better? Overall, are we still relevant? I land in Newark Airport, Jill. I live in New Jersey, and it's amazing. You look at the back of the taxi cabs. Some of them are just nasty and dirty. Maybe that could have worked 10 years ago, but more and more, aren't they changing? Because they realize they're in a competitive marketplace now. So the other thing I like to say is that, you want to make frictionless service the norm. Let's not make it difficult, make it hard for people to do business with us. But our mind should think, how can we make it as easy to work with you, the business owner, me, the business owner, as possible? Rule number 4. I should probably have like a bell when I do this presentation next time. Ding! Rule number 4. So customers expect convenience, speed, efficiency. Amazon, again, is one example of that, but there's so many. And now you can order a coffee from Starbucks before you get there and have it waiting. Now, yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are big business things. Agreed. I understand that. But I'm whetting your appetite, giving the principle that as small business owners, we have to be playing this game. And guess what? Big businesses might have the money to do these things like drones, but as small business owners, we have the nimble factor. We can be nimble and move a lot faster than large businesses can. So customers are expecting speed, convenience, efficiency, and the point is, are we offering it as well? This is important to keep in mind. Rule number 5, a strong personal brand is a must. Now, this is a pet thing that I do, where some people focus on maybe the larger brand message, the larger corporate logo, as it were. What I say brand and personal branding, that's how is Ramon knows. Do people know who Ramon is and what he does? When they think of technology and marketing, does Ramon's name come to mind? Or Jill, when people think of nonprofit and leadership and et cetera, does Jill's name come to mind? You all need to think of that in your own businesses as small business owners. You're the proverbial cupcake shop. Is your brand, your personal brand, strong enough so people in your community, people in your local geography, people in your industry know that's the cupcake guy? And that's really how you have to do your brand. And test it out. Go to your local, your search engine. Google your name. When you Google or Bing your name, what comes up? Now, in my case, I've been doing content for a long time. If you Google Ramon Ray, I'll be the first many links that come up. So I may be a little far ahead of some of you, but it's a challenge you should all seek to do. Here's a few tips that you can do to solidify and build your personal brand. Publishing a book, organizing an event, getting media attention, speaking at events, networking. Ladies and gentlemen, business owners, these are all things you have to do, you must do, I would dare say, to build your brand. And again, this is a topic that I speak about. I can give a whole hour clinic on just personal brand building. This is just the tip of the iceberg. But you have to understand, as I often say, in a world where people are the same, it's Ramon Ray against, John Doe. And we're both great people. We both shave our heads once a week over a bathtub. We both like to wear bright ties and all that. What makes Ramon stand out more than John Doe? That's what you have to ask yourself. And if your answer is, I don't know, you need to start working on building your personal brand. So, and ask your Eiffel counselor that. When you talk to them next, when you have an appointment, ask them about this aspect of personal branding, because I think it is so important. Rule number 6. Every small business owner must be a publisher. Now, do I mean to start a magazine like I do, or a book or something like that? No, not necessarily. What I mean is you must think like a publisher and start producing content, because that is what boosts your brand. We are living in a world where it's education, education, education. And education only comes from a publisher's mindset. So I want to make you aware, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, you must have sales. Yes, you must have marketing. Yes, you must have an infrastructure, business processes. Let's just face it, as small business owners, You have to wear a lot of hats. But one of the hats you must have is, am I a publisher? Am I publishing content in this digital world that will help boost my brand up? And part of this aspect of content marketing, part of this aspect of being a publisher is using some of the tools we have here. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram for that matter, Pinterest, Snapchat. These are all tools, ladies and gentlemen, that we must master. Now, let me clarify that. I don't mean every small business needs to use every social media tool. After you analyze your audience and things of this nature, what I mean is that pick the one or two that are working for you or that you want to invest in and then dive into it. That's what I mean. So social content marketing is incredible, is important. And you guys can go to Eiffel. Maybe I'll give you some of the slides I have, Jill, on this aspect of social content marketing, or we can have another presentation on that as well. But I give a really good presentation about this aspect of power of social content marketing. And one thing I want to leave you all with, I want to add to this discussion, is a few tips on social media marketing. Frequency, relevancy, engagement, analytics. You'll see here the acronym is FREA, F-R-E-A. Frequency refers to if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. People ask Ramon, well, how often should I be on social? And the little suggestion I give is, how often do you kiss? If you kiss too much, people will think you're really a freak and weird. If you kiss too little, they'll think, I'm not loved anymore. So it's kind of a fun thing. I think it's fun that, think how often you kiss. You don't do it too much. Don't do it too little. It's just the right amount. That's kind of what social is like. Relevancy, engagement, make sure your posts and things you're doing are engaging. And analytics, measure what you're doing. This is very important. So this is kind of the Ramon Ray secret sauce to succeeding online: frequency, relevancy, engagement, analytics. Real important. Rule number 8, we speed along here, and hopefully you guys are learning and digesting some of this as we're doing this. I want to leave time for questions if there are some, but in the webinar context, sometimes it goes a bit faster than what you do from stage. So rule number 8, mobile first. Ladies and gentlemen, business owners, we're living in a world of a 3-inch by 5-inch screen. Now here I'm using a tablet, of course, but the principle being, it starts with mobile. We are no longer writing content for like a big 20-inch computer monitor, even though I happen to be looking at one right now. The point is that we're in a mobile-first world where everything is mobile. Everything is made for the small screen. Our video, our images, our content, our infographics, our hashtags, all these things are for the mobile world. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not serving your customers in a mobile environment, that's a problem. Your website, does it render for mobile browsers? When people want to buy from you online, do they have to scroll left and right 400 miles on a small little screen? Make it easy for them to do business with you. So we're in a mobile-first world. You have to remember that. Your website should be speedy to leverage smartphones. Think like a mobile user. This is very important. Right, as I'm saying here, for the 3 by 5-inch or more screen. This is important. Rule number 9. Hyperlocal targeting works best. Don't target everyone. By this, what I mean is that it's so often that we can say, okay, so I'm let's see, give me an example. It's something that somebody does. I have a doggy daycare facility, doggy daycare. So who are you targeting? Oh, anybody with a dog. Not. You're not targeting anyone that has a dog. You should be focused more. We're targeting maybe high-income people that have dogs and live above 110th Street. Or we're targeting solo professionals who are very busy and need to work on a budget maybe. I don't know. The point is, stop targeting very broad-based and instead target narrow. As somebody said, Casey Graham, you can Google his name, he has an amazing business, said to me, riches are in the niches. So the more narrow you go, the better you can target, and guess what? You can focus more, focus on that market. You'll get more expertise in that market, and you can be very clear on what you do and very clear, I would say, on what you don't do. So keep that in mind. What you do and what you don't do. Very, very important to keep that aspect in mind. So local targeting really works best. Moving on to the next point. This is kind of similar to that point, but sometimes our world, Jill, looks like a box of Cheerios. It's all the same. And that's kind of the default. We just put our little hand in the bag and pull out what comes. I'm advocating, what I'm saying in this aspect of hyper-targeting is look close. Look close. Find that one person or that one group of people that fits your best demographic. Because you'll find if you start looking closely and start targeting and looking very specifically, your world will begin to look like this. If you're targeting properly, you'll begin to see there's a lot more money, a lot more opportunity out there when you're targeting very narrow. So that's really what that aspect means. Small businesses, we can't afford to target to sell to everyone, rather. And selling to everyone really means we're selling to no one. And as you can read there, more specialization is higher pricing. And I would just say more focus also gets you higher quality clients. For all of you who may be saying, oh my God, Ramon, you know what? I wish I could fire this client. I'm overworked. I'm not being paid enough. Yeah, maybe because you're not focused. And if you're focused, you can cut out the fat, cut out those that are not working for you, and focus on those who are. So this is the aspect of targeting more and being much more purposeful in how you're growing your business. Rule number 10, design matters. How your business looks, ladies and gentlemen, is so important. As business owners, sometimes, Jill, we're so focused on rushing. And let's type this up in a Word document, print it on a broken copy machine, and hand it out. No! Take the time to do things right. And there's so many organizations, and from Fiverr to Upwork to 99 Designs, so many organizations you can work with and hire to get yourself looking good. Because remember, people who don't see you first, don't know what you can do or can't do, all they can do is see your image online. If you look busted online, they're going to assume you're a busted individual. So my point is, take the time to have quality in your work. Make sure you look as good online as you want to be represented offline. And I even think that how you dress is important. A friend of mine, Sylvie DiGiusto, D-I-G-I-U-S-T-O. You guys can look her up online. She has an amazing presentation about looking well and dressing well. And I was shining my car yesterday, and the neighbor commented, and I said, yeah, I think shine shoes and a shine car, that's pretty much all you need to do to have a successful life. So at least look good online. Look good. So that's my quick tip. Rule number 11. We need to have a deeper connection to customers. This is important. So many times I think we get a sale and we ignore our existing customers, when if we would focus on building deeper relations with the people in our lives that we have with our customers, we'd find much more business. We find that we could do better because instead we ignore those in our business. We ignore those too much who bought from us, and I would dare say a deeper connection to customers is important. For example, how many of you write thank you cards? You can see at the top left of the screen, this is my stack of thank you cards. I use it, and I would really encourage you all, send thank you cards. Be grateful. Say thank you to people. Don't just, take people's money or not even money. Build relationships with people without taking the time to say thank you. Those are two words that are so important, ladies and gentlemen, but can go so far. So say thank you. And those of you who may be socially active, as I said, you can find me on Twitter at Ramon Ray. And you can definitely find Ivo's social handle as well and tweet them out and say thanks to them if you found this presentation good so far. And if you didn't like the presentation, don't tell anybody. Just quietly tell me. So moving on to our rule number 11. And then we're going to get to some tech tools that you can use as well. And Jill, I'll turn it back over to you for questions, answers, comments, or whatever it may be. So rule 11, outsource what you're doing. Focus on your core. By this, what I mean is that if your expertise is being a chiropractor, focus then on fixing bones, on making people feel great. Your internet marketing, outsource it. You don't oftentimes vacuum or wash your own windows. You outsource as much as you can your accounting. But it seems when it comes time to market that we do a lot of that ourselves. Now, having said that, what my point being is that I'm not saying you shouldn't do some marketing yourself. I believe every small business owner, Jill, should know how to use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, these tools. But my point is, as you grow, as you get to know how to do it, it's important that you outsource these things either to someone else in your office who can do it or to another firm. That's what I mean kind of by outsource. You don't want to be frazzled and do everything yourself for two reasons. One, because someone else can probably do it better than you, and two, because your time should be focused on doing what you do best. So, rule number 12, and then we're getting to the great part of the presentation, is the tools. Educate yourself and your team. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. We need to be smarter business owners. And part of that being of smarter business owners is to educate ourselves as business owners, and those of us who have teams, educate, invest in them. Don't just, invest in yourself. I'm the big boss. I'm the business owner. No, you need to spend money, invest in your team so they can learn skills as well. It's very important. You'll find some of the smartest business owners in the world, some of the smartest businesses make sure that they invest in their company. Take a look at Google, Microsoft, Amazon. These large companies who we know very well, they invest a lot in employee training. And I would dare say that we small businesses can do the same. And listen, it doesn't cost a lot to train your employees. Simple YouTube videos give them. Simply give them time to go to the help sections of many of these online sites. That's education as well. So that's rule number 12. Now we're going to move into some quick tips. So actually, there's one more rule. I surprised myself. Jill, actually, we added 2 more rules here. So this is actually a lead into the tech section. There's a barrier I find between businesses who leverage technology and those who don't, ladies and gentlemen. There's a huge barrier. And you'll find that those of you who are afraid of tech, not using tech, not investing in tech, you will fall behind. You will lose money. You will lose customers. I promise it. You can take it to the bank. Those of you who are leveraging technology, investing in your businesses, you'll find that you'll be far ahead of those who are not. So there's cloud computing, making sure you put yourself online using online applications. Being secure computing is smart computing. Being mobile, collaboration communication, using others to help you do things you can't do yourself, the freelance economy, digital content marketing, advertising. We're going to give a few tips that you can do. So one, don't technologize a bad business process. Jill, I've seen business owners, sales are not coming in. We need to get a Microsoft Surface tablet or some other device. No, you don't need more technology. You just need to invoice on time or to stop losing invoices. So sometimes we're so rushed to get technology that we think that solves all problems. It doesn't. However, technology definitely can solve a lot of problems. So I put together a list here of rules, tech tools for business, and I want to run through them real quick when I hope some of these tools can help you in your business. One, collaboration and communication. There's a lot of tools out there, and feel free to hit me up on Twitter what tools you like. I'd love to know what you like. But a few tools that I found useful over the years is Google Apps, Microsoft Office. These are two competing products which really help you share files with your teams, write documents. You have Google Docs or Office or Microsoft Office Online for do your spreadsheets, your Word files, presentations, things like this. You can use these tools. Dropbox, of course, for file sharing, and so many of the tools here. Join me. I just did a Join Me today to do a virtual sharing of your screen. Slack, great tool for communications to kind of help you minimize that flood of email box to keep everything centralized in one place. Asana, a great task management tool. Marketing and sales. Number of great tools to use for marketing and sales. Nimble is a great tool for that personal management of your contacts. Infusionsoft, who I work for and use, and one of the best tools out there for sales and marketing platforms to really drive user engagement of what you're selling, product or service. MailChimp, great email marketing tool, competes directly with Constant Contact, some of you may use, and I can go on. WordPress, Wix, great do-it-yourself website building service. Buffer, really nice tool for social management, as is Hootsuite. They kind of compete. I started using Buffer because I have a team that I work with, and I just like how Buffer does it a little better. But these are tools you can consider for marketing and sales, socially or not. Financial management. Many business owners use Intuit QuickBooks. Xero is gaining an audience as well. FreshBooks is a great tool for those who need simpler financial management systems. Fundbox is a neat tool that I found that for those of you who are kind of in a cash flow crunch, Fundbox will advance you the money on your invoices, and it integrates directly with Intuit, QuickBooks, and I think Xero as well. So Fundbox is a neat tool that some of you might want to use. Need to get stuff done. Upwork, Fiverr, 99 Designs, I've used them all. These are great tools to help people. If you need, so for design work, 99 Designs, you want to lean towards them, logos, websites, blogs, etc. But if you need like dictation or transcription done, check out Upwork or Fiverr. You need a blog post written, check out Upwork or Fiverr. So these are tools you can use to kind of get stuff done in your business. So those are some tech tools for business, 50smallbiztools.com. You can check that out. And overall, I think as I summarize, Jill, and get ready to hand over to you, is that your business tactics and strategies, they have to adapt, ladies and gentlemen. They have to change. They have to, the tactics and strategies. But I do want to highlight and say what can never change is your core values and principles. Those don't have to change. But I am saying that it's the tactics and strategies which you must constantly evolve. You must constantly adapt to. You must constantly think of how can you do it better. So with that, Jill, I'm going to turn this over to you, and I hope that's been some use to somebody in our discussion today.
Well, it was certainly, I found a lot of value in it. And interesting that you mentioned, in some of the tools, we recently started using Slack and have definitely found it to cut down on the emails and communications not getting lost underneath, all the emails that come in during the day. So Slack has really been a great tool for us. One of the things that I think is a challenge for a lot of people, though, is, again, there's so many things coming out so quickly, you don't have time to even try them all. And so that's why, reading Smart Hustle and following you and looking at the notes that we take from your columns and put in our newsletter to help people get a sense for what tools are out there and to see to get a look at some of the products in a vetted, curated manner and get some recommendations can really be a big help.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so a couple of questions for you. And anyone who has any questions, please type them in the question box and we will answer as many as we can. So here's something for you. Quickly, this Fundbox. I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard of it. There are a lot of people out there, who experience cash flow challenges. Does this, you mentioned that it funds your invoices. Does this work with any invoice or invoices for just specific types of clients?
Any invoice, meaning I'm sure they have stipulations overall how the company runs, but in general, you're an average business getting average invoices. They look at your, they have some algorithms. That's why they integrate with QuickBooks and I think Xero to look at kind of your credit risk and all that. And by the way, Jill, I've tested it, and within hours or minutes, you'll get go to their platform, say, Jill, I sent you an invoice for $3,000 and you're going to pay it in 30 days or 90 days, 45 days. Fundbox will have a little notice and say, great, invoice 1002, Jill, $3,000. There's $3,000 in your account. And then they, I don't have the details in front of me, but then you can start to pay it back over time. But yes, pretty much the average small business with the average invoice, they will fund.
Wow, because normally the factoring, you have to have a certain quality of client, and they have to be larger clients. So that is a great resource.
Absolutely.
So you talked about um, existing, taking care of your existing customers and building that relationship with the customers that you already have. How do you
Right.
feel about when companies do promos? And I know this burns me up at times. Uh, when they do a promo for a new customer, but then it applies to new customers only. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you maybe address not letting your existing customers feel left out when you're trying to do promos to attract new customers?
Jill, I hate it. It burns me up. And I would say a few things about that. I think, one, people probably do it because they're lazy, as I am. And it's just, and you want new deal flow. So Jill's already bought from me. She's been a customer for 3 years. I'm not concerned about you. I'm billing you every month. Thank you, Jill. Love you, but, I already have you. I want to get new people. So I'm like, hey, 20% off. And then Jill's like, what about me? So I would say, Jill, one, do wow stuff to your customers all the time so they constantly feel special. To your existing customers, have a program to make them feel special all the time. That's one. Point two, I would say, is that, is that you still have the deals, have those things for new customers, but I think you just have to balance it. And I think part of that goes with also segmenting your list and things like that, because it's even worse when you get like an email. I'm a customer of Jill's that say, she sends an email blast saying, free, and I just bought something. That would tick me off.
Right. Absolutely. And how do you balance quality and not doing everything yourself, and just feeling like you don't have the resources? And
Yeah.
again, people mention all the time, stay within your core, do what you do best, and outsource the rest. And we all say that. I tell clients that. And even myself, I feel myself at times falling into the trap. Well, I just kind of don't want to spend, or even if you have an investment mindset, the reality is that from a cash flow perspective, I just can't spend on that. I can't invest in that now, but I need this to happen now. How do you address that?
Right. Yeah, it's a great, great point, Jill. And I mean, thanks for bringing it out. I think there's a few things. I think, one, prioritize. Do you have to have a website and you don't know how to do it? You're going to have to just hire somebody. Is your website good enough for the time being? So think of that nature. That's point one. Point two, I think, as you're prioritizing now, think, what are things that I can do myself that I'm relatively good enough to do or not? And what are things that I know I have to have somebody else help me with? For example, Jill, my case, finances. Finances are just not a strong point of me. I should probably come and sit at your feet and learn financing from your team, but finance is not a strong point of me. So that's definitely something I outsource. I get help with for sure. I'm not going to play with that. But digital marketing technology, even though I have a team that can help me with it, that's something that I can play in. I can do a Canva. I can take photos with my phone. But guess what, Joe? Some people may find that daunting. So that's kind of the balance I would have if that's helpful. But it's a great point. But I think that overall, does your business look good enough to start generating sales, to start moving along? And if it doesn't, you then need to prioritize what you need to get help with, either for your time or for your expertise.
Yeah, Ramon, I think that that's a great point. There are a lot of folks out there who will focus on, I don't have enough sales. It's because my website doesn't, I need to redo my website, when in fact that's not what is keeping them from sales. Maybe it's just not going out and going and getting the sales. And that is one of the things that we try to help businesses and the entrepreneurs to identify, is what is really at the issue behind the business not moving forward the way that you want it to.
Mm-hmm. So absolutely. Yeah, no, this is important.
So one of the things that you talked about in the beginning was, and I just love this point, about just being hyper local and very, very, very focused. And I know, again, a lot of entrepreneurs out there don't ever want to feel like they could lose the opportunity for a sale because they said that they did this, and the client says, "Oh, well, I wanted that." So they keep kind of trending in the direction of trying to be something, offering a little bit of something for everybody out there. But I just love the point, and I'm so glad you made it again here about just targeting, targeting, targeting. What are some of the tools and tactics that you use that you might suggest in how to really dig deep and find those customers in such a targeted way? Hello? Did we lose you?
Hey, Julia, your phone kind of good. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Did you hear my question?
Ask that again, please.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I had a super long question, and I thought it was a good one.
Sorry, you were in the middle of it, but it totally cut out for about 30 seconds.
Oh no, okay, let's say it again. So, I love how, your focus on the super targeting, the hyper targeting. What are some of the tools and tactics that you use and that you might recommend to really find those customers in such a targeted way? How do you research that?
Sure. I think a few things, and one, definitely a big plug for Infusionsoft. I just think that's one of the example of a great tool that will help you segment those things. But I think one, ask right off the bat. And so let me give you a very simple example, Joe. I'm at a farmer's market, and I'm peaches, apples, and plums. As people come by, maybe I ask the business, follow me here, and maybe I write a little notation on each person's business card as they're coming. By the end of the day, of course, you can count one, but just count the business cards and see how many you have. Obviously, in that example, what's left. So for a digital person, let's say a lawyer. Let's take something better. Let's take going back to the doggy daycare example. Their website, they were to ask, fill out a short survey for your chance to get for your dog. And ask a few smart questions. What's the size of your dog? The type of dog? Are you a solo professional or a stay-at-home person, whatever it is? My point being, Jill, you will now have a lot of intelligence that you can go back at the end of that survey and say, we didn't know. We live in Nebraska, but we didn't know that we have a number of customers from New York City based on smart questions. Does that kind of make sense? My point is, ask smart questions in everything you're doing, and you'll be able to build up a nice repository of the intelligence of your customer base.
What are places that you can go, tools that you can use to even cast that wide net to then ask those questions of? So if you have an online business, let's say, where do you even go to start finding the people?
Great. So two things. One is to create a lead magnet. And that is a document that's of value to people that they want. Jay Baer, a good guy to look up, Jaybaer. Jay Baer, he calls it a utility. So one is to create a lead magnet that draws people in. That lead magnet you can start to give away at events and all kind of things. And you can start to advertise that on Facebook and other platforms. So people are going to start to see it, put it right in front of their faces. Jill, Facebook is a great platform to start doing small amounts of advertising. The second way you can do it is to buy leads. That's not my recommended way, but there's a number of third-party companies that you can do. Hey, I want 1,000 people who meet this part of demographic so I can email them or do some other action to them. So one is to buy ads targeting people in your demo. I'm looking for, guys with shaved heads who wear glasses and bright ties that happen to be like Ramon Ray. And you can buy an ads against that demographic market and start to advertise that lead magnet and then start to draw them into your funnel. So if you have nothing, listen, social platforms, Jill, are one of the best ways to do that.
Nice. And I think that there are a lot of folks out there who are trying to get everything right and perfect before you engage in that. But is there an element that you can, get out there, maybe, again, get someone from one of those sites like Fiverr or Upwork to design a small ad for you and just put it out there and test and see what happens?
Absolutely. And even cheaper than that, you can use Canva. Canva. Go to Canva, build a simple ad yourself, test it and do it if it works. If it doesn't, and you have the time, do it all yourself, no problem. But as you grow, then that's when you can hire people. But even at the top, use a tool like Canva, C-A-N-V-A, kind of like the Photoshop or the Microsoft Publisher. So that's one tool you can use right up with design.
Canva, C-A-N-V-A.
That's right, C-A-N-V-A.
Oh, that's awesome. I am not familiar with that tool, so I'm going to give that a try. Ramon, what is your favorite tool for productivity?
Oh, probably my favorite tool is probably Asana, A-S-A-N-A. That's the tool I use most with my team, Asana, I think. And also, Jill, don't tell anybody, this is a secret between you and I, a yellow sticky pad that I have on the left side of my desk. Now, I'm not one of these people, Jill, that has yellow sticky pads on my computer. Not 100. I have one simple pad that when it fills up, I throw it away. So it's one sheet, small little pad about 4 inches by 3 inches. So between my yellow pad and between the Asana, those are the tools that I use.
Our high-tech guy recommends a yellow sticky pad. Who would have thunk it?
Absolutely.
Well, Asana is a tool that we use also. I'm very familiar with Asana. Anyone who's listening to this presentation, I would highly recommend that just as a way of keeping track of all of the tasks and sometimes the things that are in your head that you keep thinking, this needs to get done. Now you can actually put it right in Asana so that you don't lose track of it, but maybe it's not actually a priority right now. I don't know if you were at the ICON conference where I last saw you, which is the Infusionsoft conference. If you were in a presentation where one of the speakers was talking about when you keep things just in your head, it's very confusing to you and it's very disconcerting. And just the act of writing things down and putting things on paper can create just calm within your person. And so not trying to keep all those things in your head and remembering, but just putting them in something can be helpful. And Asana is great because you can have it with you wherever you go as well, and you can assign those tasks.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I mean, listen, especially when you have a team, it's just one of those things that it kind of is a must, for sure.
And Asana, do you use the paid version or the free version?
I'm approaching the end of the paid version. I'm approaching the end of it. So probably in another few weeks, I'm going to be at the paid version. But right now, I think up to 15 team members, it's free, I believe.
Yeah, and so again, that's something to point out that between Asana, Slack, and a bunch of these different things, you don't have to pay any money. You don't necessarily have to use the paid version of these things. The free versions are great and really, really helpful.
And I would add and say that on the converse side, I would say, Jill, is that I guess I always encourage small business owners. I know we all want free 99, which is great, but do investigate the paid versions of some because you'll find, like an Asana, I mean, they're fully featured, as is. But, guys, $10 a month, $49 a month, $19. If you're serious about growing your business, you should be able to invest that and should, want to do it in your business. So on the flip side of that as well.
Absolutely. So to that end, that is where, again, I don't want to make this sound like a Ramon Ray commercial or a Smart Hustle commercial, but really following people who follow the tech can be so helpful because it can just save you a lot of time in knowing which technologies and which tools make sense to use the paid version and which ones people will say, no, I'm a power user, I use the free version and that's good enough. So just giving an example for us, we use the free version of Asana because someone told me who I trust, who uses Asana like religiously and with all of his clients, he said, nope, the free version is good enough. However, we just invested in a software to do appointment scheduling. And we have just started using this. It is saving us so much time, and it's called Appointment Core, which integrates with Infusionsoft, which we do use. But there are lots of other, things out there that do appointment scheduling, but we use this one, and it is saving us now so much time that it is worth. I think we're paying, I don't know, 20 or 30, maybe even $40 a month to use it, but it is saving hours and hours in someone's time in scheduling appointments. So absolutely, when you find those tools that save you time and money, it's worth the investment. Absolutely. I could not agree with you more there.
Absolutely. No, it's for sure. And I think that more and more people need to do that, more. You don't have to do it all the time, but boy, definitely it saves for sure.
Absolutely. Ramon, any parting thoughts for our listeners?
Yeah, I'd probably just say don't be afraid of technology. Don't run from it. Invest in it and dive into it. And you can't break the internet. Very few things can you do online, Jill, that break your whole world. So have fun and just grow your business and hustle, but smart hustle. But Jill, thank you, and thank you for the work you do. I'll go to the next slide.
Absolutely. So we know that it can be quite confusing out there to figure out what you need and when, and how to prioritize all the things that you have to do. But that is what we are here for. We are happy to help. We have resources at the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership that can help you figure out how to take that plan that you have, or the vision that you have in your head. We can help you to create a plan. And if you even already have a plan, we can help you to stay accountable to moving forward with your actions in order to make that plan come to fruition. So please do not hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. Ramon, thank you so much for being with us this evening. This was extremely valuable, and I'm sure that you will be saving a lot of people a lot of time and effort in trying to figure things out just by presenting them with some options here. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Jill, for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, terrific. We hope that you will tune in next month. Please make sure you sign up for our newsletter so you can stay in touch. And if there's any way that we can be of help to you, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thanks for joining us this evening. Have a great rest of the night.